Hey everybody, ModelMan here with another video in the paint box series, and what I'm doing today, or right now, is looking at these 5 pieces of wood. 3 on the top, 2 on the sides, and the panel in back. This is actually going to be a window treatment. It's going to stack 2 of my box fans, just like that guy in the window there, pretty much on top of each other with a divider in the middle. And then over probably in the middle somewhere here, there's going to be a 4-inch vent for the paint booth itself. So the duct is going to run along here, come up here, and then go out the window. I guess it's going to go on this side actually. So for this piece, I'm going to simply screw the panel onto the frames and then screw the frames to each other to make sure that basically I'm going to consider this piece square and then just go from there essentially. Over here, these 3 stacks finish off the paint booth, along with there's 2 panels actually sitting here, one for the ceiling and one for the back wall. There's 2 side panels there, and then all of this here is for the support cabinet, along with this piece here, which is going to be the paint booth floor. And this is a full 48 by 30, but the support cabinet is going to be like 42 or so, that way I'll have some overhang on one side and I can drill some C-hooks into that and hang tools like an airbrush or the Dremel, because that's going to be close by to the drilling station. And in regards to rearranging the room, it looks like this guy is going to stay here and that guy is going to go there. It's going to keep a little more openness going on, but this will be getting tight in this area over here. So I got some cutting to do today, and I'll get into that now. And voila, not 1 hour later. This was pretty easy. As mentioned, I basically went from the panel into the wood and then screwed all the sides in. Just a few moments ago I drilled holes along the sides, the top, and the middle rail as well for zip ties, so I can pass those through here and into here so they can't fall out. At least not fall out easily. And as to the air duct itself for... Oh, and actually, I would be doing this from this side. So at this point, what I'll need to be doing is getting ready to cut circles, and the way that would be done would be to probably X off the fan, figure out where the center is, put an 18-inch circle around that, and then drill around the perimeter on the inside of that line and then sand it down overall. I suspected, or pretty much knew, that at 4 inches this was going to be a little too deep. I could actually take the vent off of one side or the other, I suppose. And I was thinking that I could add 1 inch of air filters behind this. So now all of a sudden I'm not sure about that. I was going to go for 1x6s instead of 1x4s, and perhaps I should have. We'll see how that goes. I can always rebuild it. It wasn't too expensive. I may even have some 1x6s laying around that are extra, but probably not. I didn't buy a lot of those, if any at all, actually. So at the moment, I think I'm going to put this guy aside and start to work on the lower storage cabinet. Definitely get this fan cranking, because it's hot in here. And another half hour later, out of 2x4s, 1x4s, and 1x2s, I've got 2 sides of the frame, which then I'm going to take some side slats and simply go crossways from there. And I have the basic storage cabinet. There's going to have to be reinforcement going on. There's a false floor I'm going to put in, because the air compressor is going to be sitting in here. I want to deaden that as much as possible. So I'll be covering the entire interior with carpet scraps, probably a couple layers of them. And I have to make a false floor, kind of like this is a false floor down here, stuff that full of rags and any other sound dampening stuff that I have laying around. The proper acoustics tiles are a little too much out of the range at this point, but that's an eventual upgrade. So just gotta slap these two things together, and I guess I have to move that paint box out of the way. It's getting to the point where it's as heavy as I can move it myself. And in yet another half hour at a time, I've got all this all set. I might tighten this up. In fact, I probably should, in fact. But overall, everything is pretty stable right now. So next up, I get to lay it onto the base. I'm going to take some 1x1s, frame it around, nail those or screw those to the base so that this locks into place. It'll still be removable, of course. I'll have cross braces to cut, it looks like. Possibly several of those. 4 maybe. And I'm not worried about the top being any more stable than it is with this 1x2 because it's going to be fastened to this guy here. But before I fasten this on, I got to know where the fan is going to be, which is all sorts of, you know, do a little here, do a little there, test fit, etc. and so on. So yeah, let me get to it. And here's a couple more hours of cutting and all sorts of doing a lot of work. I've just laid down this 1x1, and I'm going to call that over there a right angle to which the booth here is going to go in. Not much else. I cut a lot of panels otherwise, and everything else is good. I put a couple reinforcement 2x4s in here just so that strip would run all the way along uninterrupted. And once I got the booth in place, I can nail one in here, probably just on these little points, and then definitely one down the entire line here. And a good amount of sweat later, I've got these all framed out there, so this just kicks straight in. I left a little wiggle room just in case it needs it. And yeah, so next up comes the tabletop, and then this goes on it, and I got to put the walls on still, of course. I also bought a bunch of carpet samples from the 99-cent store, kind of like doormats, but I need to get my hands on a staple gun before I can install those in the walls here. But I should probably put the walls up first, huh? And this is looking like the end of the third day of construction. Everything's in place. Wow. Over here, when I calculated the height, that was top to bottom on the storage cabinet. I wound up putting the side rails in before I put the walls on. So now the walls are high, but in this case it works on these two because that creates a lip for this to sit against. It's not going to work on this wall here, and of course the front doesn't have any walls, so I'm not too worried about that. So as you just saw, the top is still loose, and it'll probably stay loose, I think, just so I have easier access to the fan. And this guy here is going to get fixed into place. I had thought I was going to put it all the way at the side there so I'd have some working room for putting stuff down on this side. However, standing here like this, there's not, well, actually it'd have to be about there. So actually this doesn't have as much free room available as if it were over here or even centered. So I'm going to have to play around with that. But essentially, just as the cabinet is locked into place with those 1x1s, this is going to get locked into place as well. So another note about this thing is that it is just about at the bulkiest maximum weight that it can be, as well as the bottom one there. And I still have to put walls on. At least I have to put walls on this, and that's simply because I don't want dust getting inside there. I don't necessarily have to put walls down here, but I do have to put a lot of carpet on the sides. I've already stuffed a little carpet into the back section there. I have to measure out a full bottom floor and then a subfloor to go on top of that, and then I'm going to pack at least this section and probably that section with carpet pieces. And of course then I'll be staple gunning all the walls in there with carpet pieces as well, just to help keep the noise down as much as possible. So there's the ceiling to do here, and a little bit to do there, and so on and so forth, and that's pretty much it for today. The box here is ready to go. That'll go up tomorrow, and yeah. So with that, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See ya.